Hello everyone, I'm back again with another Fallout video, and I want to cover perks and character builds, what works and what doesn't. So let's just start with the perks themselves. Um, like I said in my stream and in a previous recording that I may end up deleting, um, is any one of your weapon perks will do nicely for you. But I didn't really cover specifics of that. So we're going to start with that. The Gunslinger perk up here and the melee weapons, I think, are the least likely to work. I will explain melee weapons after I explain all the other weapons. So let's look at Gunslinger. Gunslinger is any non-automatic pistols. So this includes your 10 millimeter, your pipe pistol, your 44, and your gamma pistols. So it relies on two commons and two uncommons. So that's why I don't think that will work as well. Um, your commando, which is the perk that covers automatic weapons, is a perfectly okay perk. I have no issues with that being used in any build. Rifleman, also no problem with that. This involves any non-automatic rifle, and I think it's a wonderful perk. I actually like Rifleman better than Commando. Um, some of the other weapons that you can find in here is your heavy weapons. I honestly don't see that as working as well because of the fact that it relies on rare ammunition as well as weapons that weigh a lot. So you'd have to account for a huge factor, I'm sorry, a huge portion of your inventory being devoted to one gun because of just how heavy they are. Um, I haven't found that much 5mm ammo, flamer ammo, or even ammo for the cannon weapon. I forget its name right now. So I don't see that as working. Demolition Expert is perfectly fine. This covers missiles, grenades, and mines, all of which are AoE damage. Perfectly awesome to complement any weapon builds that you may do from one of the aforementioned mentioned perks. Energy weapons, I wish to go into detail about before moving on to melee. The great thing with energy weapons is they run off a different damage type, so enemies like super mutants and robots don't really have a lot of resistance to energy weapons from what I've seen. Um, Energy weapons can be modified for incendiary effect. They can set enemies on fire, so that's actually pretty cool. But the downside is modding them and the ammunition. I'm level 28 and I only have about 800 ammunition for the laser rifle. And you may be thinking to yourself, 800 ammo is a lot? No, it really isn't. Um, in my first 20 levels, I went through, I want to say, somewhere over 2,000 10mm and 38 ammo for the 10mm and pistol and the pipe rifle. I have about 200 left. So as you can see, I went through a huge portion of that just trying to get through this game. So the ammo seems to be rare, at least to me. The other issue with laser weapons or energy weapons in general is the fact that you would need the science perk to mod their barrels and things. And that's an intelligence 6 perk, so it does require a significant amount of special and perk points to get to. And then even when you get there, if you were to just rely on science perk, you would only be able to build night vision scopes and recon scopes and things of that nature. You need gun nut perk to make all the normal, like, sights and things of that nature. So like a long scope would be under gun nut. So if you wanted like the normal modifications, you'd have to spend into gun nut as well as science to get your uh, laser weapons to maximum efficiency. I did say I would cover melee weapons at the end of this, so let's do that. So, melee weapons are heavily reliant on either getting close to the enemy or sneaking to them. Um, Sneaking is a bit harder to do unless you spend into the sneak perk, obviously. So early on, you may struggle with melee until you can get that fixed. Um, the other issue too is getting close to enemies. The best way of doing that is power armor, but unfortunately, power armor is a gamble in itself because of the fusion core drain and the time that you have to use them. There are perks related to that. There's one bobblehead, and then there's this nuclear physicist perk at intelligence 9. But I highly doubt that you'll be able to get that much more time out of a fusion core, even with those perks, even if you invested that much. And what I mean by that is this is because there are some areas that require extensive travel to get to a person that would make the resource expenditure of a power armor acceptable. One example that I will give that's not a spoiler is the end of Act 1 boss. He's in this building, and what you have to do is either enter in through the garage or the roof, and then you have to go down about 3 flights and walk to him. I estimate around 2 to 3 fusion cores needed to make it that distance. Um, and that actually is a significant amount because I've only found 17 fusion cores and 28 levels. So just for one boss, that's already 3 out of 17. Um, so that's kind of an issue in itself. The modding side of melee weapons requires the blacksmith perk at rank strength 4, and some of the melee mods require science from what I've been able to see. So that falls under the same problem as energy weapons because they both feed off of 2 different perks. Um, so I do see an issue with that. So now that I've explained all the um, weapons, let's look at some of the defensive perks. Um, Toughness is of course a great one. Life Giver is another great one. Your rad resistant is awesome. I actually found out this perk is beyond useful because it reduces the amount of radiation that clogs up your HP bar. Adamantium Skeleton is another great one. And then your Lone Wanderer perk. This is a perk that gives you less damage taken and carry weight increases when you don't have a companion. That's actually fine. I do not see use in companions at all because of the fact that they're um, I guess AI is not exactly proficient. There's been times I've died because of companions, and that's because I was sitting behind a wall trying to use a stim pack, and then my companion decides, oh, I must use this wall for cover, ends up pushing me out of cover and into harm's way, and of course getting killed in the process. Um, and of course, when I'm running away, there's been a couple of times that I've stumbled into a companion. So I honestly hate companions all around because of just how much problems they give me in comparison to what they actually can provide for me. Uh, let's look at um, I guess you can say bonus perks. So better criticals is obviously great. Requires luck 6. Bloody mess, another great one. These all add bonuses to um, your damage and overall defense, of course, because if you can kill them fast, then that helps. Um, Sneak is just great all around for any builds if you want to do a sneak build. I can tell you that I can count how many times I've been detected while sneaking. That would be 10 times in total. 7 of those 10 were indoors and 3 were outdoors, and that's because I snipe them at a range where they don't easily detect me or even bother to come looking for me. So that's a good bonus to have if you really want to go that far. Um, I'm trying to remember which other perks. Let's see. Um, I think that covers the bonuses. Let's look at all the crafting stuff. So any one of the um, crafting perks you decide to take, I guess will be okay. More specifically, Gun Nut and Scrapper are going to be your best friends. Scrapper is the perk that allows you to get uncommon components when you deconstruct things, and Gun Nut allows you to modify things such as guns and the missile launcher. So that's pretty awesome. As for Scrapper, you can get this pretty early on, but the first rank only gives you screws, aluminum, and copper when scrapping weapons and armor. You need Scrapper rank 2 to get nuclear materials and fiber optics and those rarer components out of things. So until you get rank 2 Scrapper, I would store anything that says glow-sighted or recon scope or night vision scope. I would wait to uh, scrap those until you have this rank 2 Scrapper perk. Um, I don't think I need to mention Hacker or Locksmith because those are pretty obvious. Um, those are, of course, going to be your way of getting additional loot out of any uh, level or mission. I will say I would not spend into the fourth rank of these. Not only do they require high level, but they give you a bonus that's really not necessary. Um, Hacker, I think at rank 4 says something like you can't be locked out of computer terminals. That's not a big deal because all you have to do is try as best as you can the first time, and if you get down to one guess left, just hit the tab button, exit out of it, and then go back into it so it refreshes the amount of guesses you have. Locksmith has the bonus of your bobby pins never breaking at rank 4. You can get really good at the game, or I should say the mini game, and to the point where you won't break as many picks or bobby pins, I mean. And even then, you get a lot of bobby pins. I have, I think, over 100 now because I haven't broken that many. Um, so I don't see a use in making that rank 4. Um, some perks that aren't as useful that are in here. I guess that you could put into a build if you really wanted to. Is Lead Belly. That's more or less a convenience because it makes you take less radiation from eating or drinking. So this includes any of the radiated foods such as pork and beans and things of that nature, and of course any radiated water supply. So it's more or less a convenience because you can sleep to gain your HP back in some of the difficulty levels, and of course you can also go back to Sanctuary and use the water pump there if you want to, and that will also fix the problem and get you around the radiation. Um, Anything involving colonization, such as cap collector and local leader, I do not see a use in these perks at all. This is in large part because most of your time is spending collecting caps and not really buying or selling, at least for the first 20 or so levels. Even when you do get to a point where you don't need to scrap anymore and you start selling your weapons to merchants, the issue is the merchants only have around 400 caps, I think it is, and you'll collect so many guns to sell that they'll run out of money so quick that this doesn't even make it a worthwhile investment. Local leader being Charisma 6, this allows you to make stations and workshops at level 2. Um, I don't see a point in that because the first issue is not only do you need a settler to man the shops, but you are also doing the exact same thing as just going to a merchant. They will charge you even in your own settlement to get your radiation fixed and things of that nature. So you might as well just go to a doctor and in like Diamond City or one of those, and just completely avoid this entire mess of perk wastes. Um, Medic is required to make one of the shops, and that's why I was kind of waiting to talk about this. As far as Medic is concerned, it's a waste for to be used on colonization efforts. As far as for yourself, it's not a waste. This is an awesome perk because it makes more use of stim packs in right away. So that's beyond awesome. Um, as far as other useless perks, Aqua Boy or Aqua Girl, I think falls under that category. I have not noticed any underwater treasure in my adventures. I guess I can read my strategy guide to see if maybe I missed something. But even then, I haven't really been swimming that much. I only did it, I think, 2 or 3 times total. I don't see a use in that. Um, Chem resistant and chemist perks. I really just don't see a point in using chems, honestly, because of the fact that you don't accumulate as much as them, and even with extended duration on chems, um, I just don't see them as being usable for boss fights or even major fights. And that's also because of the fact that not only does it take the actual chems to do it, but you run into the fact that you could get addicted. And in order to get around that, you'd have to use the chem resistant perk, and that's 2 perks already. You know, that to me is not as useful as 2 perks in say like toughness or something. And without it, the only way you can cure addiction is a Dictol or that drink you craft. A Dictol is super expensive. I think it's around 300 caps from a merchant, and I've only found 2 on my own. As for the drink, that's this over here. I'll show you real quick. You can make this refreshing beverage, which removes all rads and cures addictions. But if you'll notice, it uses blood packs and stim packs. Blood packs are super vital and super rare, and that's because you can use them for glowing blood packs, which is basically the same thing as Rad-X. And then stim packs themselves require blood packs. So you're essentially using 2 stim packs to make one refreshing beverage, and I don't like that idea or concept at all. So let's go back to the perk chart. Um, Anything involving Vats, I would also categorize as being useless. The problem with Vats is how inaccurate it is at certain distances. The enemy has to really be up close to you for it to actually take aim, and by then, just pull out a shotgun and lay waste to them or something of that nature. So I don't see you using Vats perks at all. That's Mysterious Stranger, Action Boy, Action Girl. Trying to think, is there one more in here that's oh, Gunfu, that's right. That's your other perk using Vats. So I don't like that. Um, oh, and 4-leaf clover. As far as criticals are concerned, I think your critical meter recharges fast enough at 6 luck, which is what you need to unlock better criticals. So I don't see a point in going any further with that. Party boy, party girl, no chance you'll get addicted to alcohol, completely useless. Um, Night person, of course. As for your sniper perk, um, I think that's useless as well. It just allows you to hold your breath longer when aiming with scopes. Honestly, um, if you have high enough endurance, you'll have a big enough endurance bar to make the shot you need to. Anyways, complete waste of 3 perks. Oh, and Penetrator was the other one I missed that was Vats, but yeah, all, oh, and Concentrated Fire, yeah, so all useless. Refractor, which is your energy resistance, is not like it's not like as much as a waste as the others, but it's still a waste. But that's only because you have to get up to Perception 7 for that, and Perception itself only increases your accuracy in VATS. So if that was at a lesser Perception rating, I could see that working. Um, your Pain Train and Rooted perks are also useless. Pain Train is power armor, sprinting them and stunning them type thing. As you probably heard earlier on this video, is power armor is a gamble in itself. Rooted requires you to be standing still to actually make use of the damage resistance and more damage. I can assure you that you will be running around as a melee person. So, yeah, and then anyone that pacify perks such as Intimidation, Wasteland Whisperer, um, yeah, those two. They're a complete waste. They take too much charisma to make it actually effective. And even then, you just want to kill everything because it's X either way. Inspirational involves companions, just like the attack dog perk, also useless. Oh, and I missed Animal Friend. That's another pacification one, also useless. Yeah, so Robox Expert, also useless. You can just missile launch a robot. And anyways, I would much rather save the points and just missile launcher a sentry bot if I absolutely run into one, because they're the only ones that are an issue, and get the parts out of it, such as circuitry and things. Yeah. Uh, Blitz, I like the concept of, or no, I'm sorry, not Blitz. Oh, that's an Vats one. That's not what I'm looking for. That one's also useless. Where is it? Oh, moving target. This one uh, is kind of like the refractor, in which it wouldn't be completely useless if it wasn't so far in the tree. This makes it so you get more damage resistance and energy resistance when you're sprinting, but it requires 6 agility. So that's a little bit of, of an unfortunate thing. If it was closer to the beginning, like 2 or 3, I could see that being useful. Um, Ninja, of course, dealing with melee weapons. I do find that to be completely useless as well. Critical Banker, yep. Grim Reaper Sprint, all that stuff. Not useful. Quick Hands, it falls under the same category as Refractor and Moving Target. If it wasn't so high up, I could see use in that. It just makes it so you reload faster. Um, I think that covers everything. Yeah, awareness is VATS. Yeah. Um, I think that covers everything. Oh, strong back. I forgot about that one, didn't I? Strong back, because you'll be at a high enough strength anyways. Um, I don't see an issue with that. But that's like a very last thing to spend into, because that just increases the carry weight, whereas something like Lone Wonder increases carry weight and your damage resistance. So that is more valuable than strong back. I can't remember if I covered Basher, so if I repeat it, sorry. Um, because you'll be high in strength for most builds because of just the usefulness of having strength. Um, if you do manage to get that far, I guess I don't see a problem in that being like a last perk thing. If you want to really test to see if gun bashing is the answer for melee. Um, but yeah, so there's all of your perks. Let's talk about builds now. I know this was a long explanation, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible. So if you want to do a, Rambo build, I see no problem in doing that with guns, either rifleman or commando. If you want to do a sneak build, same thing. I don't see a problem in it. Colonization build, as I've said, is a waste of perks because you have to do these cap collector perks and these local leader perks. Um, and of course, any builds that involve modification are going to be important because they increase your likelihood of survival. Um, if you want to do a critical build to complement or explosive builds to complement your gun builds, that's perfectly fine, as they will help you out significantly. But other than that, that's all I would do. So I'll go and conclude the video here. I hope this gives you ideas and helps you with your build. Good luck. Thanks for listening.